Hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Friday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy, meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and I'll be hosting today's show. Up first, hazardous weather graphic. Flood watch here in the Galena zone, or the zone that includes Galena, and actually at the lower Koyukuk River Valley area. And that's a flood watch out for the Koyukuk River for high water levels and possible minor flooding. That kicks into effect Saturday morning and stays through the weekend and through Sunday night, actually, and into early Monday right now. And so high water levels in this area there along the Koyukuk River, and the lake at Hughesly also in the flood watch area as well, with lake levels having risen about a foot over the last 12 hours or so. And moving on to the fire danger chart. Now, significant amount of precipitation has slid on up into the southeast interior here, with Tok picking about 2/3 of an inch of precipitation in the last 24 hours, and other areas in the last 12 hours, Delta Junction and some other locations had anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 an inch of precipitation, and you can see that really beat back the high fire danger zone here back to the west. Not much got into Fairbanks. I think only at the International Airport they had about 1/100th of an inch, or that might have actually fallen to at a location north of Fairbanks there, but much lighter amounts, as we still have the high fire danger here from the Yukon Flats area back into the central interior, then down the east side, the west and northwest side of the Alaska range here, and then it kind of tapers off when you get down to about the latitude of Anchorage, with nothing pretty good out here to the southwest, and also some high fire danger now showing up here in the Noatak Valley area and even on the north side of the Brooks Range there. Mild temperatures, 70-degree temperatures extended back to Ambler and Selawik and actually into Kiana and the Noatak Valley today with sunshine. So dry conditions there and elevated elevated fire dangers. They'll probably last through the weekend. And on the satellite, here's the band of moisture that brought that moderate to heavy precipitation into areas here over the 40-mile country in toward the Alaska Range. And that extends westward into Norton Sound and then southwestward with areas of light rain, fog, and drizzle there coming from Nunavak Island all the way down across the Pribilofs and then wrapping back in across the eastern Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula, which suggests there's a low center right here over west central Bristol Bay, right in this area here, and looks like it's extending back to the southwest. There's actually a trough extending from the center back to the southwest. Clouds and some showers around Kodiak today, about 1,500's worth at the Kodiak State Airport there. Only 1/100th of an inch at Anchorage, and then about 3/10 falling today at Cordova, 1,300's Valdez. Portage, 1/10 of an inch, which by their standards is thick fog. And over the Panhandle, we have a trough with cloudy skies, showers, areas of rain today, lasting the entire day today. And there's even a little bit more here back to the west, upper level system slowly sliding off to the northeast there into Canada. And that's going to keep showers in the forecast at least through tomorrow there. And then the precipitation associated with that thermal trough here through the central interior areas, and the moisture sliding westward with that. It's actually going to start pushing southward here over the next 36 hours or so, and it'll begin weakening after tomorrow, or dissipating out a little bit. Some good sunshine up here from the Brooks Range, even the North Slope breaking out into sunshine mid-afternoon or earlier today, and that extended down to at least a ways south of the Brooks Range. Otherwise, some fog around the Bering Strait, Tin City, but some clearing was occurring over St. Lawrence Island on down towards St. Matthew Island, but not the case for the Pribilofs here under that moisture field that extends down to the eastern Aleutians. And moving on to tonight, showers may be a little less scattered here over the Panhandle. We got another trough here to this just off the coast that'll be moving in yet with southwest flow aloft and the upper level disturbance in the area there. It's going to keep showers in the forecast, as I mentioned already, and then this area of rain continues and probably not going to let up a lot. It'll be sort of showery in nature, so in any one location it could completely end, and others it may continue consistently enough to be called just flat out rain. Otherwise, look for some showers tonight over the south central Alaska area, Chugach Mountains, Turnagain Arm, and over toward Girdwood into the coast range of the North Gulf Coast area. Should be central Copper River Basin, mostly dry. Isolated scattered showers here over the southwest interior with also isolated to scattered areas of clearing, and damp and unsettled about sums it up with low flying conditions here over the Alaska Peninsula, southeast Bering Sea with this persistent weak low. Could see a few flurries and fog on the Arctic coast, but nothing really significant. High pressure out there to the west, making for light winds and dry conditions with patchy areas of low clouds and fog. And then for the outlook on tomorrow, no change out here in the west. This warm front really having trouble making any eastward progression. Got a weak trough through here for maybe some possible drizzle, fog, light rain, a shower or two up to the Seward Peninsula. Isolated chance of a thunderstorm up here over the northwest interior there. It's going to be hard to even get the showers to pop. I mean, it's just not enough moisture, but it's possible. Better chance here in the central interior, eastward over toward Canada. Again, good rainfall amounts here in the areas that saw them today, maybe a little bit more into the Fairbanks area. Sunshine to the north, or mostly sunny skies to the north. Partly to mostly cloudy or partly sunny. Isolated showers, south central Alaska, a little more numerous along the North Gulf Coast, southeast Copper River Basin. And a trough, still an upper level trough here over the Panhandle that persists actually into Sunday. So you see less showers. We'll still be mostly cloudy with a few showers around on Sunday due to a very weak upper level trough in the area there. This mostly sliding off to the south. Showers a lot less now. That area is shifting southward, dissipating. So best chance of showers, northern Cook Inlet in the morning, breaking out the sunshine in the afternoon. Showery day though for southern Cook Inlet. Back into the Kuskokwim Valley. Isolated thunderstorms in the northwest. Mostly sunny here over the eastern interior on Sunday, possibly, maybe from the eastern Arctic coast, and definitely into the eastern interior. Maybe a few clouds in here, but generally looks like it'll be precipitation free at this point, with the showers there around the eastern Alaska range from Nabezna, again up across North Waitok area, and then most of that off into Canada. And this weak system there, amount should be less than 1/10 of an inch, and still a little showery for the Alaska Peninsula. Low clouds, fog, drizzle, but light winds, basically dry for the Aleutians. And front trying to push into the far western areas there against that high will bring a little bit of moisture and change probably the wind direction towards Shemya. And for the lows tonight, mid to upper 40s here in the central interior, mid to upper 20s along the Arctic coast. And down in the southern area, well, 40 to 45 for the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island, 40s southern Alaska, as well as the Panhandle, and the highs tomorrow, 50s to lower 60s for the southeast coast, 65 to 75 here through the central interior with, again, 70s all the way back into the Noatak Valley, and mid-60s into the lower Yukon Kuskokwim River Valley areas with upper 40s along the coast, mid-40s for the Pribilofs, above freezing all of the Arctic coast, followed by lows in the upper 20s to lower 30s for the Panhandle there. Pretty mild here over the interior, 45 to 51 or 2, and 40s for the Panhandle. Upper 30s Copper River Basin, 40 to 45 or so here south central Alaska, Kodiak Island, Alaska Peninsula, upper 30s for the Bering Sea, except mid 30s there for St. Lawrence Island. And then taking a look at the high temperatures expected for the afternoon on Sunday. Again, not too bad here. 65 to 70 here over the eastern interior, maybe 70, 75. Koyukuk Valley down toward Tanana, and upper 60s, lower 70s into the northern Kuskokwim Valley, which is Nikolai and McGrath. Otherwise 50 for Nome, 35 for Barrow, and 53 for Kodiak.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Moving on to flying weather. Look for a lot of VFR here over the interior tomorrow morning, except for some marginal VFR here along and south of the Alaska Range. Marginal VFR up across from the Gulf of Alaska, Prince William Sound in Kenai Peninsula, east side there, and probably into at least eastern Turnagain Arm and across the Coast Range into the Wrangell Mountains, some of the Copper River Basin. Pretty marginal for the Panhandle, IFR, North Slope Arctic Coast, and a band here right along the southwest coast. And then for tomorrow afternoon, marginal VFR holds and may even increase here, especially eastern Alaska Range southward across the Copper River Basin, probably east of Copper River there. and down into the North Gulf Coast, and stays marginal mostly for the southeast coast. Kodiak Island seeing some VFR, IFR now along the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta coast, Cape Nunam, Nunivak Island especially. Marginal for the Pribilofs, IFR out to the west-southwest, IFR up there, central eastern Arctic coast. And for Sunday morning, that kind of expands during the morning hours there with IFR across all of the Arctic coast north slope, but mostly looks like VFR there for the Chukchi Sea here off the northwest coast there north of the Seward Peninsula. And then picking up the marginal through the strait there, south of the strait, St. Lawrence Island becomes IFR by the time you get to St. Matthew Island. Pribilofs right on the edge of that, and it hanging just off the southwest coast. And IFR for the Aleutians, marginal from, let's see, Atka, so ADAX in the IFR, marginal all the way up into the Alaska Peninsula, VFR in the interior, except this area here over the southeast interior, along the mountains there, down to the eastern North Gulf Coast, marginal. And for the afternoon, it looks like the southeast coast will be VFR just about everywhere. And also interior Alaska looking really good as well, VFR all the way up to right along the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, and Seward Peninsula, all VFR. Then we have some marginal VFR still plaguing the coastal and, to a certain extent, inland areas of the Yukon Delta. IFR, Nunivak Island, Pribilof, St. Matthew Island, much of the Bering Sea, and a lot of the Aleutians, except for the Fox Islands, they'll be marginal. And for passes, Anatuvik and Adigan, another VFR day coming up for Saturday. And Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR, maybe trending toward VFR. Actually, it's kind of going to go either way, going to be right on the edge the entire day. By the afternoon, some of those showers probably be mostly of the VFR variety. Same thing for rainy, occasionally marginal, possibly at times throughout the day Saturday. And for windy, looks pretty marginal up there. Even possibility of some IFR at times. And for Isabel, marginal VFR. Mentasta a little bit better, marginal VFR becoming VFR into the afternoon. Tanita, same trend, upward trend, starting out marginal, becoming most likely VFR at some point in the afternoon. And for Portage as well, same forecast, improving to VFR. Possibly. It actually looks like a pretty good chance. There'll be VFR in the mid and later part of the afternoon for Portage. And then Chilkoot and White, marginal to start, VFR to end. And the freezing levels, kind of a cool pocket here yet, when kind of upper trough still moving through more or less. So we got 4,000 feet, eastern North Gulf Coast. 6,000, a little lower now over the interior. We still have that upper level ridge persisting in this area that'll begin to expand a little bit here as the waking goes on. And about 4,000 feet there along the Aleutians, and 4 to 6 for the Bering Sea. Let's see, icing. Looks like mixed icing types here. Possibly considerable moderate in the active convection, and then light to isolated moderate here for the southeast coast, again of the mixed variety, above about 6,000 feet. Jet stream showing upper level low here over the Yukon. And so that's the last trough there, kind of cutting out, and then this high looks like it'll start expanding, taking over the scene a little bit more, although we still have this tomorrow, this trough there just south of the eastern Aleutians. But you can see the flow now heading in farther to the south, ridging out to the west, northerly flow 70 to 90 knots across the western Bering, 9,000 feet. Southwest 15 to 25 into the Panhandle, kind of light and variable here over the interior. Low pressure, northerlies 20 to 25 knots, same thing at 3,000 feet, so maybe a little bit lighter here. Only 10 to 20 at the most here coming up from the south-southeast around that low center north of Cold Bay. Northerlies up to 20 and 10 to 20 maybe for the Panhandle. Easterlies 10 to 20 over the eastern interior. Turbulence could be a little bit of moderate chop here over the eastern interior as well as the Alaska Peninsula and the central Aleutians. And after the break, I'll be back with a look at the sea ice conditions and marine forecasts.
Hello, I'm a Gozar series weather satellite orbiting 22,000 miles above Earth. I can see a lot of cool stuff from up here, and I take pictures of it with my spiffy camera that has 16 different settings. I have such good eyesight, I can see clouds, snow, smoke, smog, and ash, so I can warn you about dangerous conditions and help you avoid them. When storms are brewing, I watch them closely and help with hurricane, tornado, and flood warnings to help keep you safe. And my lightning mapper tracks lightning strikes way up in the sky, even through dark, dense clouds. I also help with search and rescue missions. I listen for distress signals from emergency beacons and tell search and rescue teams just where to find people who need help. But even when I'm keeping a close eye on Earth, I'm monitoring weather out here in space, too. I watch the sun for big bursts of energy, which send waves of radiation toward Earth that can affect power grids, block communication with planes, cause errors in GPS, and damage satellites. Space weather is also very dangerous for astronauts working outside the International Space Station. I warn them so they can get inside where they'll be safe. So the next time you watch a weather report or check your phone for the forecast, remember, that's me. So look to the sky and wave. I'll be here. Whoa! Things are looking pretty bad down there. But don't worry. I'm going to give weather forecasters a heads up and help you stay safe. I'm a Gozar series weather satellite, and one of my jobs is to keep an eye on Earth's weather as I orbit above. But I'm 22,000 miles above Earth. How does your local weather forecaster know what I see all the way up here? First, I have to figure out what's going on. I point my special camera at the Earth and take pictures of the clouds I see below. My pictures show where the clouds are, but I also take lots of other notes about the clouds. For example, how high they reach into the atmosphere, how much rain they might cause, and when a severe storm may be forming. But I can't keep all of this information to myself. I have to share it with weather forecasters down on Earth. A big antenna is waiting for my call. Since I'm a satellite, I send my pictures and notes in a computer language of ones and zeros. Luckily, the antenna speaks my language. Computers connected to the antenna organize my notes and combine all of the pictures and cloud information and translate them into weather maps. They send a version of the maps back up to me. I'll hold on to these for later. Another copy of the maps is split into smaller pieces. This helps the maps move faster from one place to another. The map pieces are then sent for processing before being sent back up in the sky to a communication satellite. From there, the maps are picked up by antennas at the National Weather Service forecast offices in each region. There are more than 100 offices. I also take the maps that I received and send them out to companies that specialize in making the maps more colorful and better for viewing on TVs and computers. The colorful maps and the maps from the forecast offices then go to your local weather forecaster. The forecaster combines the information from these maps with lots of other information, like model forecast data and radar data, to make predictions about the upcoming weather in your area. And that's how I help you find out if bad weather is going to ruin your afternoon plans. You're welcome. Soon it will be my time to shine in outer space. I'm the Gozar satellite. That stands for Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite. And the R stands for my order in this series of weather satellites. Like my older siblings before me, I'll do a lot for watching weather, but I'm pretty special because I have a lot of new gadgets. I'm originally from Colorado, but my journey to space has a few stops along the way. I'll be shipped in a very special satellite shipping container to Kennedy Space Center. Moving me around is not easy. I'm over 18 feet wide and weigh 6,000 pounds. And then things get really exciting. I get loaded onto an Atlas V541 launch vehicle. A big rocket! Woo! After Atlas and I blast off together, my compartment separates from the launch vehicle and I continue to climb higher and higher. Then I break away completely and unfurl my solar panel and antenna. After that, I have to use my thrusters to get into just the right position, 22,000 miles above the ground and traveling 1.9 miles per second to keep up with Earth's rotation. And then I can officially start my job along with my fellow GOES sisters, where I take advanced pictures for more accurate weather forecasts, map lightning in real time, and improve the monitoring of the sun's activity. It's going to be so awesome! I can't wait!
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Welcome back. Today's sea ice analysis continued to show slowly melting. Not a lot changed from yesterday's, but again, the open water here working gradually north and northwest and to a lesser extent to the east, although quite a thinning area here off the eastern Beaufort Sea coast. And that trend will continue for the next 5 days. And for the winds along the southeast coast tomorrow, lightest in the north, west at 10, and a little bit higher in velocity there in the south coast. I don't want to say stronger, but west 15, 6 to 7 foot seas, northwest, light winds for Clarence Strait, and south 15, Stevens Passage. Small craft advisories for Lynn Canal, especially in the afternoon, south 25, seas 5 feet. And a little bit lighter, 20 knots from the south for Lynn Canal, and about 15 there for Stevens Passage. Clarence Strait still with a light northwest breeze, and north at 10 on the south coast, west-northwest at 10 on the north coast, and those seas all around 5 feet. Prince William Sound southeast, 10 knots, 2 foot seas, and eastern North Gulf Coast south at 10, west at 10 for the west side, the Barren Islands south 15, 6 foot seas, southeast 15 for the area there around Augustine Island, Kamishak Bay, and south 15 for Cook Inlet. Light winds also in store for Sunday for Cook Inlet, south to southwest 10 to 15 or so with 3 foot seas. Southwest 10, 2 foot seas, Kamishak Bay. Same thing for the Barren Islands. In fact, light winds here out of the west-southwest for the North Gulf Coast and seas around 4 feet. Light west winds for Prince William Sound as well. And for Kodiak Island, Shelikof Strait, east at 10, but the east side here about 15 knots from the south. And Sitkinak to Cape Sarachev, there southeast 15 and then east 15 from Cape Sarachev all the way up across Bristol Bay. And then on Sunday, those winds become north or variable for Bristol Bay at about 10 knots or less with seas down to 1 foot, and northeast at 15 here for the Alaska Peninsula. East 20, that'll be the strongest wind area on Sunday here in these zones from Castle Cape to Sitkinak. Otherwise, east 15 there on the east side of Kodiak Island, kind of light and variable for Shelikof Strait. Fox Islands, north to northeast 15 knots there for Unalaska Island. Umak Island kind of just east of the area where it'll be 20 to 25 or 25 knots there out of the north-northwest, northwest 25, Adak and Atka. And then it becomes lighter and more westerly as you head west of Kiska. And then on Sunday, again, that front trying to push eastward there will turn the winds around and they'll pick up a little bit to about 20 knots from the southeast. Otherwise, west to northwest 15 knots here for the east central and central, or the west central and central Aleutians. Eastern Aleutians for Sunday, north to northwest 15 to 20 knots, and those seas not too bad, 4 to 6 feet. And for the southwest coast, east winds tomorrow, 10 to 15 knots, seas not too bad, 2 to 3 feet. Pribilofs northeast 15, north 15 St. Matthew Island, north at 20 there for St. Lawrence Island. Swinging around to the south for Norton Sound, or variable to south. Light winds though, 10 knots, seas pretty slight. And then for Sunday, west winds at 10 there for Norton Sound, with seas 1 foot or so, give or take, and then southwest at 10 here for St. Lawrence Island with 2 foot seas. North 15, north of Nunivak Island, and then west 20 here for the area southeast of Nunivak Island into Kuskokwim Bay, and south winds at 10 knots for both, or all 3 islands there, St. Paul, St. George, and St. Matthew. Up along the eastern Boulevard Sea coast, small craft advisories getting pretty brisk on the east end there with 30 knot winds, and then falling back to 20 knots on the central coast, west side northeast at 20 with seas at about 4 feet, and looking at 6 foot seas here from Cape Beaufort to Cape Thompson with those 15 knot northeast winds, and then 20 knot northerlies on down to Wales. Moving ahead to Sunday, north 15 there from Wales to Cape Thompson. Pretty light winds there from Cape Thompson to Cape Beaufort, only 10 knots, and then east 15. Western Arctic coast, central coast there, 20 knots out of the east, and pretty uniform wind pattern from there all the way over to Demarcation Point, east to 20, 4 to 5 foot seas. And for tonight again, moderate showers continue, or in some cases moderate rain at times, depending on where you are here in the eastern interior, mostly south of Eagle down to Northway Toke. South of the mountains, there'll be more scattered nature of the precipitation. Chance of showers south central Alaska, mostly over the better chance over the mountainous terrain, and maybe scattering out, trying to become less showery for the panhandle, but some more off the coast. So this system keeps it unsettled and damp over the Alaska Peninsula, and for Sunday, sunny over the eastern interior.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.